Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So we're just going to start from where we stopped the other day. Were you in the beginners class?
Okay.
Where we
Yes, I
talked about.
was.
Okay, so great. I think the
Yes,
project
I was.
we created that day, I called it Next 1 Million Console. I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. And did you try to create this?
Um, I have created. I've done something like this before, so yeah,
Okay. So you
I
you
would say I've
already
done it.
you already know.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
have you learned conditionals? If, else, and the rest.
Yes, I did, and then I left it, so it left me too.
Okay. So, Abdul Hafiz, your mic is loud, please. Okay. So, so that's basically what we'll be doing today. So we're going to be taking our
Okay.
variables and making decisions with them, basically.
Okay.
So, I don't know if Abdul Hafiz is with us. Hafiz, are you with us? Hello. Okay, so let's just
Doesn't seem
continue.
to be here.
Okay, like I said before, like I said on the group chat, conditionals allow us to make decisions in our program based on some value. The value can be input from a user, the value can be computation result. So, as an example, let's say we want to determine if the person using our application is young or old based on the age they supplied.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I am
Yes.
going to do is I'm just going to come down here. Before I display this string to the person, I'm going to do a conditional here. Now, the different ways, there are two major ways to do decisioning in C#. You can either use an if-else statement. We're going to Google this. So you can use an if-else statement. It looks like this. So you have an if block, and then you have an else block. You can use an if-else statement, or you can use something called a switch statement. We're going to be looking at both of them this evening. Hold on. So take away, this is a switch statement. So there are two types of constructs we can use to make decisions in C#. You can use the if-else construct, or you can use the switch construct. Now, let's go to our program and use the first one, which is the if-else construct. So I want to display some results based on the user's age, right? I'm going to start with typing if, and then I have a bracket. Now this bracket is going to contain the decision I am trying to check for. Now I want to find out if the user's age is less than 18. Notice the sign I use, less than. So if the user's age is less than 18, what do I want to do? Now I have to put a code block. Now what this means is that if this condition is true, right, whatever I put here is going to be executed. Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so if this condition is true, whatever I put here is going to be executed. So I'm going to say, console dot write line, you are not an adult. So basically, I am saying if the age the person entered is less than 18, tell the person that they're not an adult. Else,
Okay.
I'm going to say else console dot write line, you are an adult. So because this is an if else block, one of it is always guaranteed to execute. both of these lines can never execute. There's never a case where both of these lines will execute. So if the person is below 18, this line executes, and execution jumps down to this line. It skips this place. Do you understand? So our program currently executes linearly. It gets here, it checks its condition. It says, okay, yeah, this person is less than 18. It comes here and then executes this, and then it jumps this and comes down to execute all. The same light. If it gets here and it finds out that our user is older than 18, it's going to jump into this block, execute this, and then display this. Let's just look at it very quickly. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm going to enter Vincent. Gender is male. And then it says you're an adult before saying, because I entered 95, which is greater than this thing. Now, this is the basic if else, right? Supposing we have multiple conditions, what if we want to check if the user is less than 10 and tell the user that the user is a child, and then check if the user is less than 18, so we can tell the user that the user is a teenager. Do you understand? So our conditional statements can get pretty complex, and let's do that now. So let us understand what we want to do. For our first case, we want to check if the user is less than 10 years old, right? If the user is less than 10 years old, we're going to tell the user that the user is a child. If the user is between 11 and 19, we're going to tell them that they are teenagers, right? And if they are above 19, we're going to tell them that they are adults. Do you understand?
Okay.
So I'm going to take this out, and then I'm going to, you know how to write comments in C#? So I just want to put some comments now. These are not codes. If I want to put comments, I use 2 backslash like this, and then I can just type in random comments, conditions. So first condition. First condition says user is equal to or less than 10. That's the first condition. Second condition, user is less than or no, user is equal to or greater than 11. So the user is either equal to, the user is either 11 years old or greater, but less than or equal to 19. So the user is either 11 years or older, but at the same time, 19 years or younger. So the user cannot be more than 19. That's our second condition. Then our third condition is user is above 19. Give me a second, please. Do you get what we're doing here?
Totally, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. So the way to code this, we're going to start with our first if. So for our first if, we want to check if the user is equal to or less than 10. So we'll say age. We'll say if age, the way to say equal to or is less than or equal to is to do this. Watch my screen. So this is the less than sign, right? And then I'm going to put equal to, and then I'll put 10. Now the difference between using the equal to in front of it, if I had simply said this, if the user is 10 years old, it won't come in here, because I am saying that the user has to be less than 10, and less than 10 is 9. So if a user that is 10 years old uses this application, it won't come here. So I have to add the equality. So now I am saying if the user is 10 years old or younger. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so if the user is 10 years or younger, I'm going to say console, the right line, you are a child. Then for my next block, I'm going to say else if. Now I want another conditional, but I've already used an if here. So here I'm going to use an else if statement. Do you understand? So when you have multiple conditions, to check, use the else if. Now let us look at what we're trying to evaluate here. We're trying to evaluate that the user is equal to or greater than 11. That means we'll say age is greater than or equal to 11. Watch. But then that's not all we want to check. We want to make sure that the user is also less than or equal to 9. That brings us to something very important. We have two keywords in C#, the and the or keyword. Now, I'm going to use the and keyword here. Before I explain how to use it, we actually represent it like this, the and symbol, two of it. And then I'm going to say age is less than or equal to 19. What this line is doing, what we're saying here is that for this code to execute, the user has to be greater than or equal to 11. That means the user can be 12 and this is an and statement, and the user must be less than 19. I don't know if I'm explaining this right. We're saying that our user must be either 11 or greater, or he must be 19 or lower. So that's we're bounding it. This statement basically creates an and here. So when you need to combine two conditions, you use this and statement. Do you understand?
Okay.
So
yes, I do.
Okay. So we're now going to say console.writeLine, you are a teenager, right? And then finally, we can just go else. So if the person is not a child and the person is not a teenager, then we know that the person using our application is clearly older than 19 because none of these other catch blocks got it. So we can say console.writeLine, you are an adult. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I'm sure, do we have to run this? But you can already tell what the responses are going to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's run it just in case.
Okay. So let's run it. I'm going to use a conceptual person. Say Jane. Let's say Jane is 9 years old. Jane's current salary is 100K. Jane is female. So it's telling us that Jane is a child. Let's run the program again for a different input. So we're going to use John this time. Let's say John is 16. John is earning 90K. John's gender is male. It's telling us that you're a teenager. So it's telling us that John is a teenager, right? Which is what we expect. So for 16, it should tell us that John is a teenager. The last one is when the person is an adult. So for name, let's say the name is Jessica and the age is 25 and current salary is 800K, gender is female, and it's telling us that Jessica is an adult. So we can see that our logic works. So when you want to use conditionals, it is important for you to clearly put down your thoughts of what you want to do. So just outline what you're trying to achieve with your conditionals here, so that when you start to construct your if-else statement, you have a clear picture of what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. Now let's talk a little bit more about this and or statement I mentioned. I'm simply going to leave this, or rather, I'll come to the top here, and I'm going to create two variables. I'm going to say int number one. This is just to illustrate something, and I'm going to assign 2 to it. And I'll say int number 2, and I'll assign the value to 3. I'm going to use an if block. If number 1 is greater than 1, and number 2 is greater than 5. I'm just going to leave that, or let's just do a console.writeLine. Console.writeLine first if block. This is to illustrate something. Then I'll say else if. I'll just copy this very quickly. But instead of using and here now, I'm going to use the or. I just want you to understand the difference between the and the or. I'm going to go console.writeLine second if block. Right? Now let's run this very quickly and find out which of the blocks it is going to execute. So I want us to see which of the blocks it is going to execute, and then we'll come back to look at it. Okay, so it executed the second one. Let's come back here. Now, if you look closely, you see that our conditional statement look almost identical, apart from the statement in the middle. So using an and here, this is a symbol for an or. Or even an or here. This symbol is called the pipe, or even two pipes here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so let us look at the differences. Now, for here, we're saying if number 1 is greater than 1 and number 2 is greater than 5, execute this. But look at this, number 1, we set number 1 to be 2, right? So number 1 is 2. So this first part of the statement is true. Number 1 is indeed greater than 1, right? But number 2 here is 3, right? And we're checking if 3 is greater than 5, which is false. So 3 is not greater than 5. That is why it did not execute this part of the code. So when you use an AND symbol, both sides of it has to be true for it to execute the code block. And that is what I want you to understand here. So when you're using the AND symbol, both sides of your expression needs to be true for it to execute the code here. Do you understand? And the reason it didn't execute this was that this is false. So we assigned 3 to number 2. Clearly 3 is not greater than 5. So that is why it didn't come here. So this is false, or this is true. Now the reason it executed this is that the or symbol works differently, right? So here we're just saying, if any of this is true, it is going to execute this. So while we know that this is false, this is true. So that is why it executed this. So the takeaway from all of them saying is that for an AND statement, the both sides of the expression have to be true. But for an OR statement, only one side needs to be true. Do you understand that?
No.
Totally.
You said?
I don't understand that.
Okay, you just joined in, right? Who's
Yes. Yeah?
Who's it? It's showing iPhone.
Iffy.
Oh, Ify, how you doing?
I'm fine. Sorry, I'm joining late.
Okay, were you in the last class?
No.
Did you watch the video?
What video?
So I put a video on YouTube. I think you're going to be completely lost. You need to. So you need to. Did you set up your system? Did Sarah help you set up your system?
No, I will do that tomorrow. So that I should come with it tomorrow.
Okay, I don't think you can pick off. You can just pick off from where we are right now. So I would advise that you set up your laptop. You watch the first video, and basically get up to speed. I'm going to upload this video
Hello.
to.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Sorry, please. Can you give me the YouTube channel?
Can I what?
Can I the YouTube link to the
Okay.
video?
Okay, I'm going to paste it on the group chat now. I'll paste
So
it
I
on
want to. Okay, wait. This is going to be on the YouTube stuff too, right?
Yes, it will.
Okay. The class is not for the advanced guys. This particular class, right?
Yeah, this class is the basics class.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably just chill and get the 2 videos.
Okay.
The place I am is kind of noisy a bit.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
Okay. So
say something.
okay, so I'm going to. So when Sarah finishes setting up your system, right? You're going to. I'll give you a link to the first video, so you just watch it. So it's basically going to help you get started, and then after that video, you can watch this video, and then you'll be able to understand subsequent classes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Abraham, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so hello.
But does that mean that if he can't stay on this class?
She can really.
Okay.
But I don't think she would. So she
benefit from it.
Yes, yeah, I don't think she'll benefit too much.
Yeah. No worry, just carry on.
All right.
No worry, I'm just listening.
Okay, so that's really is it for if statement, Gabriel. So it's really important that you remember that when you use an and statement, the both sides of your expression have to be true for it to execute. And then when you use an or statement, only one side has to be true.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it for the if statement. The syntax is rather easy to remember. If you ever forget how to use the if statement, just type if and hit tab twice, and it's going to give you the basic structure. Just if and tab twice, it's going to give you the basic structure so you can start fleshing out your code. Now the next one, I mentioned that there are 2 types of conditionals. There's the switch statement. Now, like the switch state, like the if statement, you can simply type switch, switch, and hit the tab key twice, and it gives you the basic structure. Now, the switch statement looks a little more cryptic. It's really not difficult. Now, the fundamental difference is that while with the if statement, you're giving it conditions to check for. With the switch statement, you're giving it strict values. You can't check conditions. So the first thing I'm going to do is tell it which variable I want to switch on. I'm going to say, okay, I want to compare values for the age. And then it says, okay. And then so I come here, it uses something called cases. So I'll say case 10, console, just write line, you are 10 years old. Then I'll come here and I'll say break. And then I'll come here and say case 20. And I'll come here and say console, the right line, you are 20 years old. And I'm going to break. Now, I want you to note the difference. The difference is that for our if statement, we are giving it a range of values to check with, right? So here we are saying check if the person is 11, if the person is between 11 and 19. For here we're saying check if the person is between 0 and 10. But for here we're giving it strict values. What I'm doing on this line is saying check if age is 10. So there's no range, it is fixed. And here I am saying check if age is 20. Do you understand? And then one example, or one thing we can do with what's it called? One thing we can do with switch statements is decide which day of the week it is. So let's assume that I have an integer called day called day of week, and I set it to 6. I can then have a switch statement. And what am I switching on? I'm switching on my day of week. And then I'm going to have my cases. Let's just check this. And then I'm going to have my cases. So I know that case 1 is going to be Sunday, right? Today is Sunday. Now for the days of week, it doesn't make sense for me to want to know the range of values in this variable. I want to know the specific value that is there. I can come here and see if the variable in day of week is 2, then I'm going to print today is Monday. I don't know if you're getting it.
Sorry, please can you come back? So you declare the variable. You said day of week is equal to 6.
Yeah. So I'm trying to show you when you can use a switch statement.
Okay.
So what I said is an if statement compares a range of values. So what an if statement does is it takes your value and then it checks if it is within a range, right?
Okay.
A switch statement checks if your value is equal to something. So for here, I'm checking is age 10. So this is not a range, this is a specific value. I'm checking if age is 10. Then I am telling it that you are 10 years old. And the next line, I'm checking if age is 20. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand that part.
Okay, so let's come down to day of week.
Exactly.
Okay, so right here, I can tell, so I can create a variable named day of week, right? And I can save whatever I want into it. Let's say I save 2 into it. And I need to declare, I need to show which day of the week it is to my user. Now, it doesn't make sense for me to be checking if day of week is between 2 and 6. What I want is I want that exact number in that variable. And that is when I can use a switch statement. So I can then switch and say if the variable inside day of week is 2, I know that it is Monday.
Okay, so where will you get this variable that you're comparing to the default variable you had assigned? So are we going to say read line or something?
Yes, definitely. So I can get this variable from the user. Do you understand?
Okay, so that was where I got confused.
Okay. So right now I am assigning it directly here. But I can add it to one of the variables I am getting. Okay. I can just say enter an integer for day of week, and maybe the user enters 5, and then I can come here and say case 5. I can come here and say case 5. Your entered day of week is 5 should be what then? Monday, Tuesday. Friday. I think that's Friday, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically it for the switch statement. In practice, you're not going to use the switch statement a lot of times. You're going to use the else if a lot more times than you ever use the switch statement. But it's important to know that it exists. And if you have a value that you want to compare strictly, if you don't have a value that you don't need to check a range for, the switch statement is a very good alternative. Do you have any questions?
No.
Yeah,
Can we run this code?
Okay.
This switch stuff.
Okay.
The other one was pretty clear. The if else.
It was what?
So I mean the previous one, the if else statement was very, very clear.
Okay.
This switch on the other hand, you are 10 years old, you are 20 years old.
Yeah.
The entered day of the week is Friday. What are you trying to achieve with those?
Okay, so I'm just going to go to it again. Like I said before, with the if else statements, so I'm really not trying to achieve anything here. This is just an illustration for you to know that it exists. For the if-else statement, you're checking a range of values. You're going to be typing on my screen so you can see it. So what the if-else can do for you is it can check if your value falls within a range. So you can have a value 15 and check if it is in the range from 10 to 30, right? This is what the if statement does for you. So you have a value 15 and you want to check if it is in the range 10 to 30. You can use the if statement to do that. So you can now come and see if age, we're doing something like that here. Here we're saying if age is between 11 and 19. That is what we're doing here. Now, that is for the if statement. Now, for the switch statement, it helps you check if your value is equal to another exact value. So it's not a range, it's another exact value now. An example is is the user's input 10. So now you're not asking if the input lies between 10 and 30. You're asking, did the user enter a 10 or did the user enter a 20? And that is what we're doing here. So we're taking this age and we're asking, is age 10? If age is 10, execute this. And then you said?
I said in this case, the switch, we are just asking more like if 10 is equal to 20, right?
Yes, exactly. So for
something like that.
Yeah, for the next one, exactly. For the next one, we're asking, is age 20? Here we're asking, is age 5? So when you're using the switch statement, you already kind of expect to know what the user is going to
what the answer is.
Yeah, so a typical example is, you know your USSD application, like when you're trying to buy airtime. Maybe you want to buy airtime from your bank and you have that menu where they say choose 1, choose 2, choose 3. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So they actually use something like this there. What they do is they're going to check your responses. So maybe you dial star. Okay, I borrow airtime a lot of times. I dial star 606 hash, right? And then I click this one. And then it tells me how much do I want to borrow. And then it tells me to select 1 for 50 naira, 2 for 100 naira. If I select 3, it uses a switch statement to check, okay, this guy selected 3. That means he wants 1,000 naira airtime. And it credits my account with 1,000 naira. So that is a typical example of where you can use a switch statement. You can use it to get the exact value the user selected. Is that clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So that's really between so those are the two conditional statements we're going to look at this evening. The if statement and the switch statement. If you joined late, I would advise that I'm going to put up the video and share a link. I would advise that you just go through the video so you'd not get lost. So Abraham, you were saying you were saying we should run the code and see how the switch statement behaves, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'm just going to take out this case. And
say that again.
I said I just took out that case. I took out one of the cases. And I'll run it now.
So what we want to do in this case is we want to compare age.
Yes, exactly. We're comparing age. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to enter Jane. I'm going to, for age, I'll put 60 because I want to illustrate something. For current salary, I'll put 10. And for gender, I'll put female. And look what happens. I have two outputs. You are an adult and your name is Jane, blah, 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 blah. Now notice none of this was printed because my age was 60. not find a corresponding case here.
Yeah.
So nothing was printed here. Now let's run it.
Where's the noise coming from?
Give me a second. Sorry, whose side is the noise coming from, please?
It's been muted.
Okay. So for the second, so I'm going to use a case that exists now. John, I'm going to say John is 20. I'll say his salary is 10, and I'll say he's male. And then this time I can see you are an adult, you are 20 years old, because it found a case that matched my input for age.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? So that really is the case, how the switch works.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can just play around with it. So the application you currently have, you can just edit it and add a check for age and just display a little depending on what the person's age is.
Okay. Noted.
Okay. Any more questions? Any other questions, please? Ify, do you have any question?
Me?
Yeah.
Not really. I'm just.
Okay. I think you should just go through the video. If you have any questions or challenge, don't hesitate to send me a message. Okay. All right. We're going to call it a night then, if there's no other question.
Okay.
Thank you guys for coming. I'll put up the video and share a link.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night to you.